An idea does not become just and true because it's popular. But I can tell you the freedom ideas are just and true, and they will become popular because we will speak about it. Not only me, but of our candidates, they will use their words, they will use their weapons, and we will convince more people that the direction that this country is going, it's our totalitarianism, it's our communism, and a big central government. So we are fighting that, and we want our freedom. We want to gain back our freedom.
If a snap fall election is called in Canada, will you be voting based on your conscience? Or based on who you believe has the best odds of taking out that one party that you don't want to see leading our country? I'm Drea Humphrey here with Rebel News, and today I sit down and speak with Maxime Bernier, the leader of the People's Party of Canada, who left the Conservative Party after narrowly losing its leadership race to Andrew Scheer back in 2017. Bernier claimed the Conservative Party had become too morally and intellectually corrupt to continue with, and thus the People's Party of Canada was born. But with not enough seats to actually become Prime Minister if we do see a fall election, how does Bernier expect to gain the people's votes? Why should they vote for this party? That's just one of the questions I ask him in this upcoming interview, and you're going to see that in just a moment. But first, if you appreciate the independent journalism that Rebel News brings you, where we don't get a cent from the government like CBC, please consider supporting us by donating at rebelfieldreports.com. Now, we've seen you, one of the only really, when it comes to when we're looking at things federally, standing up for the loss of freedoms and rights that we're seeing across Canada, even to the point that you got arrested. Let's show a clip of that right here.
Afternoon, sir.
Yes,
Purple
yes.
Park with the RCMP.
Yeah.
I can get you step out of the vehicle. I'm going to place you under arrest right now.
Yeah.
Right now, you're under arrest under the provincial health orders. Okay, so if you can just put your hands behind your back, face towards the vehicle. Okay, give me one hand here.
I'll just use the same vehicle, okay? Thank
Yep.
you.
The other hand. Do you have any weapons or anything on you, sir?
Weapon? No weapon. Only
Anything on you that's
only
going to
my
hurt
words.
me or anything like that?
Sorry?
Anything on you that's going to hurt me or anything like that?
No, anything will hurt you. Only my words. Only my philosophy. Only what I believe in.
Okay.
So tell us what's happened regarding that arrest since.
Yeah, actually, as you know, I'm traveling across the country. I'm campaigning because we understand that we may be in election this August and for election day early September. So I was going to Manitoba, and before going to Manitoba, the premier of Manitoba, Mr. Pallister, said in a press conference the day before I arrived, he said that I was not welcome, and if I'm coming there, my wallet will be emptier.
Well, he's violating the public health orders. He's going to be light in the pocketbook, and I'd suggest that he not violate the public health orders.
And also, I received a letter from the head bureaucrat at Health Manitoba, and he said if I'm coming to Manitoba, I will have to quarantine and also to be sure that I'm not doing event more than with 5 persons. So I said, it's my constitutional right to travel across the country, and I'll do it. So the day after, I was in Manitoba. I did my first event outside with the executive of our riding associations there, just to be ready for the next election. It went well, but after that, I was the only one who received a ticket. And I received 2 tickets, one for a gathering with more than 5 persons outside in the park, and another one for not being in a quarantine. So, and the police said, if you do your second event, you have a risk to be arrested. So just after that, I called my lawyer and we had a discussion, and he said, Maxime, if they arrested you, it will be illegal, unconstitutional. So you have a good case, and that will be your decision. So I decided to do the second event. And the second event was another meeting with my riding association. We were at that time 6 outside in a park, social distancing. You can see the photo of that. And after that, I was again the only one that received not a ticket right at that time, but has been arrested, handcuffed, and put in jail for a non-crime after a political gathering. So that's like being in a communist China, in a communist country, and they did that just to stop me. They wanted to be sure that I wouldn't be able to do the rally that I had planned in Winnipeg the day after. I was more than 10 hours in jail, and I had to give them $1,000 to just be free again, and a bail of $1,000. And after that, I was supposed to be in court the 26th of July, but like all the cases across the country, they postponed that case until the 24th of August. That's a way because they know that what they are doing is unconstitutional, illegal, and they cannot win that in court. So they are postponing that. So it was political repression. And that's why when I was arrested and when the police asked me, do you have any weapons, anything that can hurt me? My answer was, no, I don't have any weapons, only my words, only my philosophy, because that's the battle right now. It's the battle of ideas. And that's what I'm using right now. I'm using my weapons. I'm using my words all across the country to speak about freedom and personal responsibility, respect and fairness. And I can tell you that we have a momentum. I don't know what will be the end result, but the People's Party of Canada will have a full slate of candidates. We are working on that. That's our goal. Up to now, we approved more than 200 candidates all across the country. And that will be a very interesting campaign because it will be the People's Party against all the other establishment political parties. They're all the same on lockdowns. They're all the same on vaccine passport. They're all the same on mask mandate, on the equalization formula. They won't change it. They want to change the formula to be less generous and more fair. They're all the same about the Paris Accord and carbon tax. They're all the same about more and more immigration and more of multiculturalism. So, and they're doing, political correctness, and they try to please everybody with the money that we don't have. So that will be very interesting. And I understand that I have a chance to be on the national debates also against these other leaders, Trudeau, O'Toole, and all the other ones during the campaign. So that will be interesting, and that will give us a great opportunity, because our biggest challenge, I must admit, right now is to be known. This party, about 50% maybe of the population don't know that we exist. When they know that we want to fight for them, putting our country first, Canadian first, it's easy for us to have their support.
Right. And then one of the challenges, obviously, is also the whole fear of splitting the vote. There's a lot of people who feel like the main goal right now is to do everything we can to ensure that the Liberals don't get a majority in government. So for yourself, how would you combat that sort of concern?
Yes, you're right to say that was a big argument at the last general election in 2019. A lot of people out west were telling me, Maxime, we like you, we like your platform, but we want to get rid of Justin Trudeau. We don't want to split the vote, so we will vote for not Aaron O'Toole, at that time was Andrew Scheer. We will vote for Andrew Scheer and the Conservative. So that was a powerful argument. But now for this election, some people are coming to me and are telling me, Maxime, I'm sorry. I said, why? Because I didn't vote for you last time, but this time I will. And I asked the question, so why you will support us, the People's Party, for this election? And the answer is always the same. I know that Aaron O'Toole won't win. I don't want to waste my vote. And you are the only Conservative Party in Canada. So I will vote for you, and I will vote for conservative ideas. So right now, that argument won't play as well as it was at the last election, because it's too important right now to vote for a Conservative Party, a party that will work for Canadians, and we are that party. So I don't believe that maybe Trudeau will have a minority government. I don't know. But if you don't vote for what you believe, if you don't vote for what you want in this country, you won't have it. So I'm telling them, I won't be a prime minister after that election, but at least you will have a voice in Ottawa. We'll have some candidates that will be elected and will have a voice, and we will start that common sense revolution, that ideological revolution in this country. So that's what we need to use all the tools that we can have in Parliament to force debates on our ideas. And that will be important to start that. And I think people understand that.
Well, you are right. I believe that definitely when it comes to conservative values, the Conservative Party isn't really representing those right now. But when you say you're the only conservative leader right now, what about Derek Sloan? I mean, he's announced that he started a party. He has stood for a lot of the same things you have. You mentioned the Paris Accord. He differs on what we've seen so far with that, as well as climate change, as well as all the freedom stances. You guys have even worked together in a coalition. So if you're encouraging people to vote for their conscience when it comes to you, does that also extend to Derek Sloan's party?
Yeah, Derek, first of all, you're right. I worked with him in the End the Lockdowns National Caucus. We share the same view on ending the lockdowns, and that's why we work together. And I asked Derek to come with us and to be part of the PPC. And he decided, I was disappointed, he decided to create his own party running on the same platform as the PPC. So, but the real difference is Derek is going for the social conservative votes. He will be like the Christian Heritage Party. His new party is a Christian party, a pro-life party. And so for me, it will be, he wants to attract social conservative. And that's why when he was kicked off of the Conservative Party of Canada, he said to social conservative there, stay there, knowing that he will create a party. Now he's trying to have their votes. What I'm telling them, we are doing politics for all Canadians, pro-life, pro-choice. But what I'm telling pro-life people, you don't want to vote for a marginal political party like the Christian Heritage that had only 19,000 votes at the last election, less than 0.1% of all the votes. So if you want to have an influence, come with us. We are welcoming you. We are ready to reopen that debate on abortion if it's important for you. Actually, at the last general election, I had a candidate, Laura Lynn Thompson, that tabled a bill, and she said, if you elected me, that will be the bill that I will table in the House. It was a bill against late-term abortion. The party doesn't have any position on abortion and social issues like that. It's a question of conscience, and we respect that. But we will respect also our candidates and members of Parliament to table a bill on any subject. And at that time, it would be a free vote for everybody. And I said, as the leader of the People's Party of Canada, I'm against late-term abortion. And if there's a bill in the House, I will vote in favor of that bill. And I'm against also sex selection abortion. So what I'm telling you, if you want real changes in this country on a lot of issues, including you as social conservative, it's important to reopen the debate. Let's come with us and we'll have the discussion.
Right. Now, did Derek Sloan tell you personally that it's a Christian party? Maybe I missed something. I didn't actually see that be announced or anything like that. Is that something that happened behind the scenes, or?
No, I don't know any details, but he said that he's a pro-life and his party is a pro-life party. So if you do that, it's mostly a Christian party. Like we know, the Liberal Party of Canada is a pro-choice party, and he will be a pro-life party. And the Conservative Party of Canada, they said that they don't take any position on that, but they don't allow their members of Parliament to table a bill on that. So that's the big difference between them and our party. So for us, the party won't have a position on these issues, but we are welcoming if a member of Parliament wants to table a bill on that, we will welcoming that. And I said also that I'll vote against late-term abortion. So I'm the only leader of a national party right now that is recognized that said that is against late-term abortion. Actually, Andrew Scheer, when he was a leader of the Conservative Party of Canada, and he's a Christian also, he was not able to take that position. So I'm saying to people who believe in pro-life, you're welcome in our party. And yes, we'll have that debate in Parliament and we'll see what will happen. But that's why, I was a little bit disappointed, because for these pro-life, if they want to vote for a pro-life party, there's a Christian heritage there. So I know that Derek is looking to have some support from the Christian heritage, maybe. I don't know what will happen. But for us, we had 300,000 votes at the last election. We had 1.6% of support. We are a real national party that will have candidates all across the country and will be able to influence the debate in Canada. That's the most important.
Well, I think one of the things that's noticeable, or something to say, hey, you guys did pretty good, was how you basically outran the Green Party in the small amount of time that you had to do so. Maybe you can reword that better than I just did.
Yeah, no, you're right. I was disappointed of our score after the last election in 2019, 1.6% of the vote. And as you know, I didn't win my own riding in both. I will run in both in this election, and I will work hard to gain back that riding and winning that riding. But at 1.6, if you compare that with the Green Party of Canada, it took them 20 years and 6 elections to have more than 1.6% of the vote. And we did that in our first year. So this party is growing, and we are there for the long term. Actually, if you look at some polls right now, we are about 8% in Alberta, all across the country, around 3, 4, 5%. So we'll grow step by step. And the most important is to have a voice in Parliament. And I can tell you that some of our candidates will be elected. And after that step, at the next election in 2025, when we'll have another election, we will be there and we'll grow again. So I'm very happy with our organization on the ground. It's very difficult to build a party, but now I can tell you that we have an organization all across the country. And everybody are sharing the same values, fighting for Canadians, putting our country first, ending foreign aid, bring back that money at home, a new relationship with the First Nation. I can go on and go on all these important reforms. The Conservative Party of Canada or the Liberals or the Green, they are not there. They don't want to discuss the real issues for the future of this country. We have a vision for this country, and we're doing politics differently, because I'm not telling you what you want to hear. In some of our platform, we have maybe only 20% of support, but I believe that we have the right ideas, and the more we speak, the better it will be. So, and I'm looking right now at the Green Party of Canada. They are destroying themselves. They are in a civil war. So that will help us. And maybe at this election, we can have more support than the Green Party of Canada. If you look at the history of the Green Party of Canada, after 38 years, historically, on average, the Green Party of Canada is around 6, 7, or 8% of the vote after 38 years. And if we can achieve that after only 3 years, I think it would be a good result.
Well, let's talk about seats for a second. A lot of people like to put their vote where they think someone is going to win. And at this time, you're not going to have more seats than, let's say, the Conservative Party or the Liberal Party. So why would people vote for the PPC in that situation, since he can't actually, take hold and lead the country?
Yeah, your question is, why voting for you, Maxime? Because, you won't have a lot of MPs and you won't be able to be in government. My answer to that is, if you want some changes, you must start to vote for what you believe. I'll give you an example. Preston Manning, he was not able to be Prime Minister of Canada, but because of Preston Manning, because of him being the leader of the opposition, it's why Chrétien and Martin, Jean Chrétien and Paul Martin, were able to balance the budget. And at that time, we had a fiscal, responsible Liberal Party of Canada. That's not the case today. But they had Preston Manning every day in the House of Commons asking for a balanced budget, for a fiscal, responsible government. And so, they were able to convince a lot of Canadians of that policy. And Chrétien and Martin Martin did it. So and I'll give you the example of the Green Party of Canada. The Green Party, with only two members of parliament, sorry about that, but they won the debate. They won the debate on climate change. Every establishment political party in Canada, including the last one, the Conservative Party of Canada, every one of them has a huge platform of climate change and are for the Paris Accord and a carbon tax. So they won the debate. They're the Green Party. They believe in climate change, and every other party. So they were only two in the House, and three, and now two in the House. So what I'm telling you is we can win the debate of ideas because we have the best ideas on the freedom and personal responsibility, Western civilization values. We just need to be out there and to start that debate in the mainstream media with every independent media, and having that platform as some of our candidates that will be member of parliament. So that's why I'm telling you, we are there for the long terms, because we believe that these ideas are may not that popular today, but they will be popular if we speak openly with passion and conviction about what we believe. And it's not because an idea is not popular today that idea is not just and true. An idea does not become just and true because it's popular. But I can tell you the freedom ideas are just and true, and they will become popular because we will speak about it. Not only me, but all of our candidates, they will use their words, they will use their weapons, and will convince more people that the direction that this country is going, it's our totalitarianism, it's our, communism, and a big central government. So we are fighting that, and we want our freedom. We want to gain back our freedom.
Now, I hate to backpedal here, but I just know a lot of people would be interested in hearing the answer to this. So I'm going to backpedal for a moment back to Derek Sloan, and I'm just going to ask, is there any opportunity in the future? Is it for sure over, or is it possible that you guys still at some point could work together? Should we see another election here any minute?
No, I'm very frank about that. I opened the doors to Derek, and actually I told him publicly and privately, if you want to sit at the same table, we will have a discussion about your role with the PPC. And he said no, and he created his own party. Now Derek is a competitor, a friendly competitor, but I believe that it is mostly a competitor to the Christian heritage, because it will be a pro-life party, and he is a pro-life party, like I said. So it was his choice. And I know that he wanted to be the leader of the Conservative Party of Canada, was not able to be the leader. He tried to hijack the party, was not able to do that. And now, he created his own party, and I'm telling him good luck. But now I'm always fighting for what I believe, and I'll do that. But I don't have to do any compromise, because he decided to be a competitor. But also, the People's Party of Canada don't have a position on abortion. So it's so important for Derek, so he cannot come with us. And I understand that. I respect that. I wish him good luck. But if you look in the past, what was the result of the pro-life party, like the Christian heritage? It was 19,000 votes, less than 1%. And so good luck, and we'll see what will happen at the next general election.
Now, let's talk just for a little bit about candidates. You mentioned that you have a lot of candidates and a lot of different ridings. Is there any names, big names we should know about, who are becoming candidates now?
No, we don't have a person that is well known all across the country, a national figure. We don't have that.
Any
we have
MPs
people,
or?
Yeah. So first of all, no, we don't have. I didn't ask my former colleagues, conservative MPs, to come with us. Actually, as you know, when I didn't win the leadership with 49% of the vote, I had only 5 MPs who supported me, including myself, on 99 conservative MPs. They didn't want to support me because at that time they were telling me that my platform is too bold. But it's the same platform. We created the PPC based on what I said when I was running for the leadership of the Conservative Party of Canada. So there's no MP that will cross the floor to come to us. I didn't call anybody, and I didn't waste my time to do that. and we don't have a national person that is well known all across the country. But we will have candidates in their riding that are very well known. And when the time will come, I'll be pleased to let you know. Up to now, we just finished our process, our second phase of selection of candidates yesterday at 12 p.m. BC time, and we receive more people, more applications. And that's why I'm able to tell you that I believe that we'll be able to achieve our goal to have 338 candidates. Up to now, if you go on our website, People's Party of Canada, you'll be able just to write your postal code to know in which riding you are, and if we have a candidate in that riding. If we don't have a candidate now, be patient. It will happen before the next election.
Now, last I checked, I looked at True North. They've been keeping a tally of how many churches have been burnt or vandalized. It would be in less than 2 months, and it was close to 60. I know you have made some statements on your social media about that, but as we're filming this, the Prime Minister has still not called these acts of hate or domestic terror. If you were a leader or the leader of the country, how would you have, how would you have addressed this situation? How would it have looked any different?
First of all, we must say that it's a hate crime for sure. And I'm very disappointed that the Prime Minister didn't want to call what is happening by the real name. It's hate crimes, and that's evident. And so I'm asking also the police to do their job. Nobody is beyond the law. Everybody must follow the law, including these people. That's a crime, and all these people must be under the full power of the law. And I hope that the police will do their job. And it's very disappointing that also the mainstream media are not speaking about that. You are doing your job, True North is doing, but we don't have the real information on that. They don't want to have that discussion on what is happening in our country. So for me, the most important, we have a definition of hate crimes in the criminal code, but now Justin Trudeau and the Liberals Party are looking for a new definition of hate crimes, just to be sure that they would be able to censor us on social media. That's the bill C-36. I'm against that. So yes, it's a shame that in this country we don't have a prime minister that will fight for religious freedom, and he's not doing that right now.
Well, let's talk about the mainstream media for a moment. You mentioned that one of the ways for people to find out about you is going to be independent media. Rebel News, obviously, we have the largest conservative following online as well. But even we get censored. A lot of people don't know who Rebel News is. Politicians are not supposed to be censored, but we've seen recently MP Derek Sloan has been censored in different ways. And, when it comes to what the mainstream media writes about you, it's not always favorable. I see they're making a big deal about you, letting people know you're not getting the COVID-19 vaccine right now. So how do you plan to combat everything that comes at you from mainstream media or everything they choose to ignore?
Well, I believe that Canadians are intelligent, and I'm appealing as a politician to their intelligence, not their emotion. And it's very disappointing that the mainstream media don't want to cover us as a political party. So what I will do for this campaign, actually, we'll have an ad campaign, we'll have billboards in Western Canada, just because we know that there's about 50% of the population don't know that we exist. So we need to do something. So we'll have a very strong ad campaign that will start maybe in a week or two on billboards. We'll do also some ad on social media. And I'm asking all our candidates to do the debates during the campaign. And because they have the best ideas, people must be able to look at them and see the difference between us and the other establishment political parties. But when I'm traveling across the country, I must admit that I have a fair coverage from mainstream local media, local newspaper, and local radio station. So that's why, when I'm traveling across the country, I try to have an interview with the local media, local traditional media. So because it's very difficult, like you said, for us to be in the national mainstream media, but the local one are a little bit more open to our point of view. But that's a challenge. And this challenge is because the Trudeau government bailed out the media. And so we will cut that. And if CBC or CTV, they won't receive any fund from the federal government. But if they're not able to raise money from their viewers, they will go bankrupt. That's called a capitalist system. And I believe that if they don't receive funding from the federal government, they will look at their viewers and try to please them a little bit more to have their support. So, you know, the free markets will help to have a better coverage with the mainstream national media. But that will come when we will cut all that fundings. And that's a strong position that we have. And we'll speak about that. They have to be independent. And actually, when I'm doing an interview with them, I was with CTV when I was in Northern Ontario. And I told them, you know, if they asked me the position, I said, you know, the position must be your media must not receive any funding from the federal government. And it's not because I have this interview with you with CTV right now that I will change my position. It's a firm position, you know. I'm not scared to speak about what we believe, and I'm doing that. But I don't believe that it will help me to have more coverage on mainstream traditional media. But, you know, we'll see what will happen. I know that a lot of our candidates are campaigning right now across the country. So, and with our ad campaign, that will help. We'll see. And actually, I said that I may be on the stage during the national debates, and that will help us also to shine in the national media.
Now, what is your party stance on climate change? We're seeing a lot about it. We had the Lytton fire in my province in BC, and there's a real, you know, push to lower our emissions. So where do you guys stand on that exactly?
Well, we are the only national party right now that is against the Paris Accord. We won't sign the Paris Accord. We won't impose any carbon tax. We won't impose more regulations to fight climate change. So contrary to Erin O'Toole and the Conservative, now they believe in that and they will impose a carbon tax. We won't do that. And actually, the environment, it's a shared jurisdiction with provinces. So if a province wants to fight climate change, they can do it. But us at the federal level, we will focus our program on the environment to be sure that we have clear lake, clear waters, and there's still important action that we can do to have a better environment. But we are not playing that game of climate change. The climate is always changing, and it will always change. And I don't believe in that climate hysteria. So that's our position, and I think it's very clear.
And let's end this interview. I'm going to borrow a question from my colleague, Adam Seuss. Now, if you are able to get enough influence this time around after we see an election happen, what would be the first three things that your party would be actively trying to do?
Well, first, ending all the carbon tax and the Paris Accord. That would be important. Second will be to change the equalization formula. We don't need to have a meeting with provinces to do that. It's under the jurisdiction of the federal government. You can have one cabinet meeting starting at 9:00 a.m. and until 12 a.m. And after that, you can have a new formula. We'll do that. The new formula would be fair for everybody. But the most important, it will be less generous, and that will give the right incentive to Quebec and New Brunswick to develop their own natural resources. So that will be important to do that. And the third one would be all these crazy rules on censorship and COVID-19. We won't help or support any provincial government to do more lockdowns. Now they're doing that because the federal government is giving money to them, is giving a financial support for their economic loss. we won't do that. And that would be important to stop that, because we will want to balance the budget in 4 years. So we'll cut all the funding in relation with COVID-19 to provinces and to individuals. So like that will be the best incentive for these provinces not to do any lockdowns or stay-at-home order or curfew or all these or mask mandate. So we will be very vocal on that. And I think the censorship must end. We will pass a legislation to be sure that everybody is free to say what they want to say on social media, and maybe to do like the governor of Florida, Governor DeSantis, what he did against the big techs to stop the censorship. We must tell them that they have a privilege, but if they want to keep that privilege, they must stop censorship. So that would be an important battle: free speech and freedom. And doing all that, we will respect our constitution and respect the autonomy of provincial governments.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you for giving me this opportunity, and let's stay in touch, because I believe that the next campaign will start sooner than later.
We've got more reports just like that at rebelnews.com with other politicians. If you haven't already signed up for our email list, you should do so. Go to rebelnews.com, give us your email and your phone number, and that way we'll never lose touch.